This is my review on Blaster Master Zero. Blaster Master Zero is a game released by NT Creates, and it is a retro-style 8-bit remake of the original NES game Blaster Master by Sunsoft, made in 1988. The Blaster Master Zero, guys, is essentially, I don't want to call it an exact carbon copy, but it's a remake. They didn't change much. They stuck with the original story. You're Jason, you follow your pet frog. He down this hole, you find this tank, and you use that to help you fight radioactive mutants. The story stayed the same, the level design stayed the same. There's not a whole lot of super duper creativeness added to this Blaster Master Zero, which is a remake of Blaster Master. Now, Blaster Master, a lot of people consider to be a hidden gem on the NES, and while they're not wrong, it's still not the best game on the NES. But it's a solid enough game where they can make a reboot of it or a remake of it, and it still hold up pretty damn good. Obviously, because of technology and whatnot, the colors on the levels are way more vibrant, way more colors, just way more appealing to the eye. Game control on the game is solid, actually. You know, and most of this game, you're sitting in a tank, and you're going through this kind of side-scrolling type of level, platformer, whatever you want to call it, and you're in this tank, which is overpowered, and you kill everything pretty easily with this tank. There are sections of the game where you have to jump out, just like in the original Blaster Master, and go into a hidden cave, room, dungeon, whatever you want to call it, go up and down ladders, things of that nature. And from that point, once you go into these other rooms, the overhead view is not different from Gremlins 2 on the NES. But again, the graphics they got that 8-bit retro style, but it's updated. Think something along the lines of maybe like a Shovel Knight, okay? And yeah, I know Shovel Knight's a brand new, unique game, but taking a 30-year-old game and updating it like this and still keeping that original look and feel of the game adds to the charm of Blaster Master Zero, I think. One thing that's a little off, in my opinion, when you're in the tank Metal Attacker, the tank itself, the physics of the tank when you're jumping, you kind of almost float through the air. And if you're not careful, you will float too far and you will, you know, hit things that will damage you. Another thing, when you jump, it's not automatic, it's not immediate. There's a slight delay if you're cruising, you know, on the ground or something and you hit jump. You got to hit it a little bit before you get to the edge instead of on the edge. So I guess the mechanics or the physics involved in that take just some slight getting used to, but it's not something that's super, super annoying. In this game, you go forward and then you go back, which when it comes to current gen gaming, I'm really not a huge fan of that. But again, if you are doing basically a carbon copy of the original Master Blaster from almost 30 years ago, then it makes sense to do this game like this. However, if I'm on stage 4 and I got to backtrack all the way back to stage 1, that's a little annoying. And yes, I've seen people compare this to games like Metroid and Castlevania and things of that nature. And yeah, that's true. You do have to do that in those games, but this game ain't Metroid. Let's just be honest. I would much rather they have gone from this backtracking thing to do into something more linear. Okay, you beat this first stage, let's go on to the second stage, let's go on to the third stage, let's go on to the whatever. Maybe some backtracking if there's a door or something or a key you need to find, something you need to unlock to progress to the next stage. Something like that, in my opinion, would have been a lot better. This game really throws you back to 1988 with the feel, the style, the look, the play, the control of the game, everything. It's more updated, and I'm okay with something like this. I'm okay with taking a 30-year-old game and let's make this new, but let's do some improvements. Some of those improvements, aside from the visual improvements, would be the addition of save states, save points in the game, which is nice. Back in the day, you didn't have that. Back in the day, you played until you ran out of lives or you played until you beat the game. There were very few games that had codes and had save points and things like that, and then back in 1988 in the NES days. So the addition of a save point is phenomenal, I think, in this case. One game mode that I really, really like on this is the 2-player game mode. This game mode is way more fun than the 1st-player game mode, and basically you will have the second player, and you can use this with your Joy-Con. You split them up, one uses one side, the other one uses the other side, and player 2 will have a target reticule on the screen and then shoot things, kill enemies, it makes you strategize, and this is what I really like about it. It makes you have a little bit more strategy in the game. And I was playing a 2-player mode. Maybe I was at a point where I was low on energy or something, and this is another thing player 2 can do. They can do energy drops for you. So I'd be like, hey, I need some health. Come over here and drop some energy for me so I can refuel a little bit. If they didn't have that energy to drop, hey, go kill some enemies. And they kind of have this circle around the target reticule. And when they kill enemies, they're able to drop more things for you. So it's beneficial if you let them kill some enemies maybe that are ahead of you. The gun is not as strong, but they don't die either at the same time. So it makes you practice a little bit of patience, saying, hey, kill this guy for me. And where you might be able to do it in probably 2.5 seconds, it's gonna take them closer to 7, 8, 10 seconds. But again, strategy. Overall, the game's pretty damn solid. It's a pretty good retro remake. Again, they stuck with a lot of the original feel and look of the game to play on the nostalgia and keep that nostalgia factor going, but it's updated enough to where someone who never played the game back in the day, or a younger generation of gamer, would still enjoy this game and have fun with this game. I would give this game a solid 6.5, maybe a not so solid 7. So if we go between that, we'll call it 6.75. If you want to have a little bit of fun, especially some 2-player fun, this is a pretty damn good, cheap way to do that. Especially since right now, at time of filming, there's not a lot of games on the Switch. So this is, you know what? Go check it out. It's not a $60 game. Have a little bit of fun, and then go put in the original, compare the two for yourself.